Welcome to our webinar hosted by CallSource here today. You have Ben and Josh with CallSource. Today we're going to be sharing some stories of some SGI members that we work with, both Snyder Air Conditioning and Cassel Home Comfort. We have three SGI member guests on today's webinar. Abigail Chen, General Manager from Cassel Home Comfort, Ed Miller, owner of Snyder Air Conditioning, and Debbie Kennington, the CSR manager from Snyder Air Conditioning. Both Abigail, Ed, and Debbie will be sharing their experiences with the CallSource and how it's helped their individual businesses. Today we're going to be talking about kind of a 6-year journey with Snyder Air Conditioning. There's 3 phases to that journey. The first phase is the tracking phase. The first couple of years of working with Snyder Air, you're able to help them track more accurately the marketing that they were running and help them understand what was really working and what was not, resulting in upwards of $33,000 per month in the first couple of years of phase 1. The second phase is centered around deal saver and alerts. Within the 3rd and 4th year of working with Snyder Air, we're able to help them capture missed opportunities when people would call in and they weren't able to book it the first time. We send them a real-time alert, giving them a second opportunity to get out to that home. And the third phase here is the coaching phase, one of our newer products, resulting in upwards of almost $47,000 of additional revenue over the last couple of years per month for Ed and his business there, where we're able to come in and offer individual one-on-one and team sessions for the call handling staff, help and improve their phone conversations. Today, throughout the conversation, we're going to be talking about these 3 phases. And the first phase we're going to dive into a little deeper here is the tracking phase. Like I mentioned, we with Snyder Air in the first couple of years of working with them, we were able to help them understand truly what's working and what's not within their marketing. And Ed's going to speak a little bit further about how this phase of the program has helped his business from a marketing standpoint.
Thank you, Josh. What we found at first, I was kind of skeptical about putting tracking numbers into our marketing. And after many of phone call, we went back and forth, and I finally broke down and decided to put it into some of our marketing efforts, which at first it wasn't in the yellow pages. And I started seeing the numbers of the tracking coming in from our website. And then once I noticed the numbers of the website and how much it was giving me the information that I needed to run the business, and then listening to the phone calls at first before Deal Saver came along, I was able to make the assumption that we finally need to put it into the yellow pages. And once we put the tracking numbers on the yellow pages, after the first year, I was able to go back and negotiate with our marketing representatives from the AT&T yellow pages here in Florida and save additional $33,000. And a lot of people say that advertising doesn't come from the yellow pages anymore, but here in my market, 19% of my phone calls are coming from the yellow pages, and I'm able to know that exactly because of CallSource and what they've done for us.
Excellent, Ed. We really appreciate you sharing that. Here to dive in a little bit deeper on the lead attribution and how this can help and how it has helped Snyder Air Conditioning. We can see the breakdown in our lead attribution chart here where the total number of calls coming through. We can show total calls and how many of those are actually interested buyers, ultimately how many appointments are being set. So not only are we getting call counts, but we're also able to see how many of those are interested buyers and ultimately how many homes we're getting into. Ed, to speak further to his comments, we've really been able to help him reallocate dollars and negotiate with ad sources, like he said, to help make sure that he's maximizing his spend each month and each year to help grow his business. One of the most important aspects here of this report is understanding your missed opportunities. And I'm going to hand it off to Ben to speak a little further on that.
It's one thing to be able to measure your marketing effectiveness, as we just saw in Ed's numbers that resulted in $33,000 in savings. It's another to be able to measure how well your team is converting those leads As calls were coming in and volume was increasing, Ed and his team felt that they were missing a lot of opportunities due to price shoppers and indecisive clients. We agreed that launching the Deal Saver platform was the right time and that it would be of great benefit to Snyder Air. The results speak for themselves, as Ed and his team are currently recapturing an average of $28,000 a month. So when call comes in, it's important to measure who on your team takes the majority of the calls and how well they're converting those clients. Appointment confirmed, as you see, allows Ed and management to quickly see all the important details that matter most, especially by looking at the booking percentages. When a true missed opportunity occurs, it will then transform into the Deal Saver alert, which will allow you a second opportunity at capturing that client. These alerts will arrive in your inbox and on your mobile device. It's a tool that will allow you to get a second chance on your missed leads. Abigail, Chen, and her team found these alerts quite useful and use these alerts on a day-to-day basis. Abigail, do you mind sharing a little bit about your experience using this Deal Saver program?
Sure. Thanks so much, Ben. Yeah, this was something I didn't quite understand fully when we started with CallSource as to how effective this would be. And it actually sort of scared my CSRs a little bit because they knew anytime they missed an appointment, I was going to know about it. And we really didn't think we were missing that many, which came to be a surprise when we started with CallSource and realized what our booking percentage was. But the Deal Savers are great because it actually gives us the opportunity to listen to the call. We all gather around, we listen to it. We think, okay, how could this have been handled differently? What could we have said? Did we go off script? What happened in the call that ended up without a booking in the end? Talk about it frequently. Then what I will do is call back the customer after we've discussed what action to take. And then with my CSRs listening, hopefully, sometimes we'll capture that booking again. So it's actually given us the opportunity to see what's causing us to not book the call, listen to them, decide what action we need to take, and then have that opportunity to call back and try to save it. And it's been very effective for us. We just started tracking what kind of revenue that we are capturing after calling back. And it's only been a few weeks, but it's already over $3,000 for us of revenue that we have gained by being able to call back and get that customer saved, basically. So it's been a wonderful tool for us. And in fact, my CSRs actually, when they hang up the phone, knowing that they didn't book something, will come right over to me and say, "You're going to get a Deal Server. Tell me what we should have done." So they're actually excited about it now instead of nervous about the fact that I'm going to be listening to them on the call. So it's been very effective for us.
Nice. Thank you, Abigail. A lot of our clients use this system as well for real-time coaching. So you currently use that, this system, when a Deal Saver alert comes out, you will use this to coach a CSR and train on that specific call?
Yes, we will. We will immediately, as soon as we get it. I mean, sometimes it's really busy, but as soon as we can, take a listen to it, do it, just a coaching with the three of us, and then immediately try to turn around and give that customer a call back.
Got it. Excellent. And last question, but do you currently have a system where you incentivize specific call handlers for rebooking an appointment using the Deal Saver alerts?
We do, actually. We have several incentives that we now have based around our CallSource reports. But we definitely have one where if we do call back, whether it's myself or them, I'll still give them the percentage, even if I'm the one who does book it, because I know that they are trying. But I will give them a percentage of the dollar amount that is saved or captured as a result of us being able to go back out there. So it's multifaceted with how we do our incentives, but we definitely give them that option to bring home a little money if they're able to turn around and get that call booked.
Thank you, Abigail. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So going back to Ed's numbers and how we arrived at that $28,000 a month, we ran a 90-day case study back in August. And in a span of 90 days, Ed and his team recaptured 55 deals, which accumulated close to $85,000 a month. Ed, do you mind sharing a little bit about the Deal Saver program and what it has meant for you and your team?
Yeah, Ben, I'd be glad to. Actually, my famous words on Deal Saver is the Deal Saver had saved our company, because before CallSource came to the table and brought the Deal Saver, I had no idea how our CSRs were handling the calls. And once we put in place the Deal Saver program and receiving the alerts immediately, we were able to find out what was going on, and we were able to go and start the coaching process right then and there of how the call should have been handled properly. Just figuring out what we could have done better to handle that call. So what was mostly happening, we have a $99.50 diagnostic charge, and instead of doing anything to help the customer to make them feel comfortable and show them the value of why we charge that $99.50 diagnostic charge, nothing was being done. That we didn't give our CSR the leeway to work on that price, or offer it if we did over $350 worth of repairs, we would waive the $99.50 once we got out there. So once we were able to establish a minimum that we would go out on a new customer, per se, if the $99.50 come into question, we were able to negotiate and be able to still get our foot in the door, because you didn't know if it was going to turn into a $10,000 sale or not. So based on that number, we just wanted to get our foot in the door, and the Deal Saver helped us to recognize that we had a problem.
Thank you, Ed. So while it's great to have a safety net in place using Deal Saver alerts, as we just heard from Abigail and Ed, the ultimate goal should be to coach your handlers and really figure out the booking percentages when they're lower. So our focus is going to be fixing inefficiencies, and Josh is going to speak to that right now.
Excellent. Thanks, Ben. So to finish up here with the third phase, one of our newer solutions is the call coaching program. And we're going to hear some experiences from our guests on the call today. But to introduce briefly here, obviously conversion rate is very key. We want to book more calls so we can get into more homes. What we found with both Cassel Home Comfort as well as Snyder Air is that there was additional items that fed into the conversion rate. Things like building relationships, understanding the customer's needs, creating value over the phone, and really getting that commitment from the customers. So we have a data-driven approach by monitoring the calls not only for conversion rate, but also through this scorecard that hits these 4 core principles. We've been able to help improve phone conversations and really help people have better, authentic conversations with potential customers. Abigail, I'd like to hand it over to you here briefly, if you could share a little bit more about you and your company's experience with the coaching solution that we put in place.
Absolutely. Thanks, Josh. So when we first started with CallSource, most of my CSRs were saying, oh, we just missed a few here and there. It's really not that many. And of course, we were shocked to find out that really we were missing quite a few. And I had one CSR whose closure rate was in the 50th percentile. I think it's 56%. And it was surprising to me, because I thought she was doing such a great job and she was so friendly on the phone. So when we realized that that was, an issue there, we got signed up for the call coaching with CallSource. And of course, she was apprehensive. She didn't want to do it. She saw it as, being penalized in a way, and didn't like the whole idea. But just after the onboarding and then her first one-on-one, she quickly went to 83%. And I was just shocked that it happened so quickly. And she was actually amazed at herself, too, for how much she had retained and what all had gone over in the coaching seminar. There are so many points that you all make, which is wonderful, as far as building value and sympathizing with the customer and just staying on script. We follow all of the SGI scripts, but it's easy for them to get off when questions are asked out of order. And so she discovered there was a lot that she had to work on, but it really helped her memorize our scripts better, but then also follow the different protocols, building the value. And she actually got excited then about her coaching sessions, and would even sometimes come and say, hey, I just missed that call. I want them to use that one when we do the one-on-one. And I know you guys always pick great calls, and it's wonderful, but even little things such as, pausing when you're not sure what you're doing, or if you're having to find something out, she realized that she had a lot of long pauses and things like that you just don't realize until you get to do that one-on-one. So it was such an amazing change from 56 to 83%, that then my other CSRs were saying, well, wait a minute, I want to do the coaching too. I want to see where I need to improve. And so having those reports with the different areas that they need to focus on and work on, and just sort of what their strengths and weaknesses are, really worked well, to the point where all of my CSRs want the ability to do the one-on-one coaching. And I had only initially done it with her because her percentage was so low. And so even everyone now is currently signed up for the one-on-one, and they learn so much in those calls. And sometimes it doesn't even have to do with booking necessarily, but just asking questions, knowing how to handle the customer, what to say in certain situations. It goes beyond just booking the call. So it's been a great help for us, and they're actually all excited to do it now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Abigail. So let's jump in really quick here to a case study that we actually ran with Snyder. We've been working with Snyder for about 6 years. And so one of the newer case studies we ran with them was centered around the coaching program. Each call handler attends 3 coaching sessions per month, 2 one-on-one sessions, and then 1 team session where the entire team can come together, kind of learn from each other and build some camaraderie within that team. The one-on-one sessions last about 20 minutes, quick, concise, to the point. And the team sessions last about 45 minutes. Diving in a little deeper at some of the numbers, we ran a 3-month case study with Snyder Air, and we saw 68% prior to coaching. Good news was we had all their data on our system prior to the coaching program being rolled out. They were booking at 68%. 3 months on coaching, in this case study we ran last year, they were booking at 75%. So we saw a 7% increase in their conversion rate. Now that's great looking at these numbers, but actually looking at some actual dollar amounts here is much more important. So total prospect calls in that second 6-month period was 2817. If they were still booking at 68%, that's 1,916 booked appointments. The 7% increase in conversion rate meant an additional 197 appointments. They closed 3 out of 4 in home, which equaled a total of $140,000 of additional revenue based on a 7% increase in conversion rate. So like I mentioned earlier, the conversion rate kind of does become that holy grail. It is the key component to be able to increase and get into more homes. And so here we found just increasing by 7% meant an additional $140,000 in just 3 months. Debbie, I'd like to ask you to share a little bit more about the coaching solution and maybe how it's helped you guys and your team there. Debbie, the CSR manager of Snyder Air Conditioning.
Hi there. I'd be glad to. It's really helped our CSRs a lot. Really what it's done for them is built their confidence. That's what a couple of them have come up to me and said. At first they were a little nervous and everything, but after the next meeting, they were into it. It's really taught them how to slow down, listen to the customer, listen to the urgency, of the caller's voice, to really understand what the customer's wanting. It's also taught them to build the value in the service before giving price. That's one of the main things that's really helped. Learning how to take control of the conversation, things like that. But they've all enjoyed it. I've got other ones, when am I going to get to start, So we're getting ready to start another group real soon here. But it's really helped us a lot.
Excellent. Thank you, Debbie. Would you mind sharing, Debbie? I know there's one call handler on your team who's been there a lot of years. I think her name is Mary. She's been there 20, 25 years. Would you mind sharing a little bit about her and her initial thoughts on coaching and maybe how that changed with her once she began the program?
Yeah, sure will. Mary was a little tough one because, she's been doing it for 15 years and she felt like, hey, I'm good at what I do. I don't need help. And so at first it was a little tough. Then we had to make her understand it's not what you're doing wrong or anything like that. It's to help you be better at it. And then you can help us too with the things that you know. And now she enjoys it. I mean, she comes out laughing just as happy as ever. But it was a little tough at first, and that's when me and Jocelyn would kind of, if we have one that's a little nervous about it or they're not really coming on board, we'll sit and talk about it and kind of talk about their personalities and things like that, which helped a lot. But at first, Mary was a little concerned, like, why am I having to do this when I'm doing such a great job? But now she's even doing a better job. So she really loves it.
Thank you so much for sharing, Debbie. So to summarize our story here today, we talked about 3 different phases of the Snyder air conditioning story. The tracking phase, first couple of years, where we help them understand their marketing better. The second phase is Deal Saver, helping them receive alerts if the call is not booked the first time. And most recently, the call coaching program, where we're able to jump in and provide one-on-one feedback to the individual call handlers. Ultimately, this turned into a lot of revenue. For Snyder, it was roughly $75,000 per month. Really has helped Ed over the last 5 years take his business from 11 million upwards of 13.5 million this year. And for Cassel, we've only been working with them for the last 6 months, but it's really helped them grow their business over the last 6 months as well. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Abigail, Debbie, and Ed for their time today. We really appreciate your guys' feedback on your experience with the CallSource program. Please see both Ben and Josh's contact information there, our email address and direct line. You can call or contact us today to book a demo. Thank you.
Thank you.